Good morning, friends, and welcome to Flosstube and Variety Show number 28. I'm Emily Williams in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Thanks for joining me this morning. It's Friday, January 14th, I think. And we just have a spectacularly bright, sunny winter day here today. You can see over my shoulder the sunshine coming through the trees. I really love the light at this time of year. It's never brilliantly overhead. It's more slanted and often a warm light, but today it's very bright. I'm used to talking about the weather every time I make a video because I was doing the temperature tree. I don't have a real excuse to, except I will say that we have a winter storm watch for this weekend, which in North Carolina, a winter storm usually means sleet, freezing rain, sometimes snow. So we'll see. Yeah, it is fairly cold, It gets below freezing at night, for sure, right now. So, Flosstube means cross stitch, and Variety Show means something else. So let's get started with cross stitch. This is Talavera, the Linens and Threads 2021 Stitch Along, Mystery Stitch Along. I've been working on this throughout the year, starting in March sometime of 2021, and I'm almost finished. So this is where I am. I really have enjoyed this. Now I'm going to show you a little closer up here at the bottom. This is the newest section. And I've decided I don't think I really like that red heart there on the end. There's supposed to be another one at the other side. I think it's too out of keeping with the way the rest of the colors flow. So I'm debating about making it a blue and green heart, which will match the way the twist in that border happens. So we'll see. I'd love to know what you think. But I hope to finish this week. I'll redo that heart, and then there's a very similar heart at the bottom of the central motif, and then the identical heart over on the other side. And then this will be finished. My goal had been to finish it in January, so I think I'll meet that goal. It's been fun to work on. It's been at first intimidating and then exciting to choose my own colors. So that's that. Last video, which was 2 weeks ago, I believe, I talked about the semi-improv sampler that I'm going to be making for my friend Anne at her request. It'll be a vertical piece. We aren't sure exactly the dimensions, so I can't really start it. And I showed this book. I'm using this book to get ideas of what to put in it. I'm going to sort of do it on the fly. And I decided to do a little test mini sampler using the colors that we had chosen. So that was what I did. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. I can tell I'm very much going to enjoy creating this sampler. When she is able to return to Canada and measure her space, we'll get the dimensions, but it's probably going to be around 4 1/4 inches wide and perhaps 20, 24, 30 inches long. So we'll see. Vertical. It'll be a vertical orientation. And by the way, I'm just going to show this again. I've been keeping this in this bag that my friend Leslie made me, this project bag. So you'll probably see that a lot this year. So then another thing I wanted to show you is, this is a temperature tree. I finished it. I showed it to you finished last year, and I'm starting to pin it to a board. And so this is I'm hoping I can show you. This is a foam core board. You can get them at craft stores or at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, things like that. I cut it to the size I wanted using my rotary cutter. And now I'm pinning it, and you can see a little pin there. I'm using these tiny little, these are applique pins. They're about maybe 3/4 of an inch long. I don't know, can this camera see that, kind of? And the important thing is that it has a flat head. It doesn't have a little glass bead or anything on the head. It is a flat, all metal pin, and this is nickel plated so it won't rust. And basically, to do this, I'm going to try to do this backwards. So you pull down so that it's stretched, and you should be observing that the line of the fabric is even at the top. And then you just stick a pin through the fabric into that foam board like that. And you work your way around, so you gradually pull it tighter all the way around. I did this for the apple pie cross stitch that I made for my son, which I showed this fall or summer is the time I showed it. And I framed it myself, and it worked out great. But I think I ended up putting pins about every 3/4 of an inch around the piece. So then what you do at the corners is you pull taut the fabric. I'll use this corner. So here's the fabric. So you pull it taut like this over the corner, and then you pull it taut from one side and pin right there, and then you pull it taut on the other side and pin. And then you may have to sort of tamp down the little fold. That would be, you would tamp it down probably as you're getting ready to really put it in the frame in order to make that corner nice and square. And in the description below, I have linked one of the YouTube videos I enjoy watching. Kitten Stitcher is a designer and a shop owner and gives tutorials on various things. And she did a video of how to stretch your own cross stitch in order to frame it yourself. So I linked that video. If you enjoy cats and cross stitch, and Teresa, that's her name, you might enjoy all of her videos. I try to watch them. She only posts about once a month or so. She's a little bit irregular, but I do try to catch it whenever she posts. And the final thing I want to show about cross stitch is, with Talavera about to be finished, I'm getting ready to start this. This is Snippet Tiger Stair, charted by Cross Stitch Creations, Charting Creations. I don't know why I can't keep that in mind. Sorry about, the sun coming through the window does create odd light. Sorry. But I'm going to be starting this. I have 18 count sand Ada, and the threads are ready to go. I'm ready to start it. I just want to finish Talavera first so that I don't have a distraction from finishing that because of the excitement of starting a new project, because that it really does happen. So there we go. So that's all I wanted to say today about cross stitch. I wanted to tell you though something we did yesterday. As a Christmas present to our friend Anne, we three, my husband and she and I, went to an escape room. We have several in this area, and they get very good reviews. And of course, in a college university area with several universities, there's always both workers who want to work at them, as well as college students who want to go there. And we went. We are not college students, you may have noticed. And we did the Temple of the Lost, or something of the Lost Temple. Raiders of the Lost Temple. There you go. And it was a sort of jungle, temple, Aztec, Mayan themed place, and there were puzzles to solve and clues to notice and things to unlock in order to find more clues and more items to help you on your way. And I'm going to post a picture here of us after we did it, and you can tell by the signs that we're holding that we didn't solve it. But we did have a very good time. It was quite interesting. And I'll say that, first of all, about that picture, the person who was guiding us, our game master, asked if we wanted to have a team picture taken, so of course we agreed. And then she said, may I take a picture with our camera so we can put it on our Facebook page? And I said, if you think that a picture of 3 mature puzzle solvers who did not solve the puzzle is going to bring you customers, then by all means. So we'll see what happens, whether we ever see that picture in their advertising. But we did have a good time. And in conjunction with that, I wanted to mention a few other types of things that are similar to a real escape room. And I have some things over here on the side, which just allow me to pick them up. With the popularity of escape rooms and COVID, it became interesting to discover something that's similar that doesn't involve going out in the world. And so a friend of ours gave us one of these, and we enjoyed it, and we've got some other ones. So here's one brand. This is Deckscape. And basically it's a set of cards that you go through in a particular order depending on how you choose, what path you choose to solve the puzzles in the game. And your goal is to find the solution to the ultimate puzzle by noticing clues on the cards, by putting objects together that are pictured on the cards. And these two that actually all the 3 that I'm going to talk about have an app, a web page or an app that you use in conjunction with the cards. So if you discover that card 51 and card 23 go together, you put that information into the app, and then it tells you what to do next. Find cards 17, 28, and 6 and solve the next puzzle. That might be an example of how it works. So, and these are designed to be for, this one, it says 1 to 6 players, and it takes 60 minutes. And most escape room experiences are geared for 60 minutes. Another brand is Unlock. And I happen to have 2 of those here. These also, not only do they have, they are very similar to what I just described with Deckscape. They also say what the difficulty is. So this one, for example, Tombstone Express, says that it's difficulty 2 out of 3. And this one is for 1 to 6 players also. These are 1 to 6 players. And again, 60 minutes. This one is Adventures of Wizard of Oz themed. And it's a similar idea. We've done a brand from that also. And then a final one is one that you can subscribe to, and they send you one every month. And it's Finders Seekers. And we subscribed to this and did 4 or 5 months of it in 2020, Byron and I, my husband and I. And we would sit down and do this together. And it takes more than an hour, maybe 2 to 3 hours. The puzzles are sometimes maybe harder. There's artifacts, there's objects that are part of this, not just paper or cards like these little boxes. And there is a website that you use in conjunction with it to enter your answer and see what the outcome is. And that was very fun. So I wanted to comment about the fact that these are for 1 to 6 players, for example. So I have never done one alone. Is that true? I think I did do one alone. We played one in a group of people. We had 5 people, I think. And we did one, and I felt like 5 people was too many. Because, especially these card-based ones, you know, the little, when you're using a card, a playing card or a larger card of that sort, it takes much longer for all 5 people to really get a good look at it. And also we found with these card-based ones that it's helpful to have a cell phone that you can take a picture and zoom in on, because that really seemed to make it easier to see some of the details on the cards, especially for us mature puzzle solvers, shall we say. And doing it alone, I wasn't creative enough. I didn't have enough brain power. So I think probably the sweet spot for these is probably 1 to 3 or 4 people. And if you had 4 people who were all really gung-ho, then it might be too many, because not everybody would be able to take the same amount of care and, scrutiny to it in the time limit. Now, Finders Seekers, there isn't really a time limit, and so that one, I think it could tolerate more people because you could pass around the objects more widely. So, but I think that one of the things that's always of interest to people who play games is games that can be played by one player, because sometimes your other people in your household, or that you can call up on the phone, are just not in the mood. And so sometimes you want to play a game, but nobody else does. So it's nice to have an arsenal of games that can be played by one player. I think that I had some conversation in a video a few months ago about one-player games. And I may have even mentioned some of these escape room games at the time. But back to the real escape room. If you have a group of, so there were 3 of us, this room was designed for 3 to 6. That is, this experience was designed for 3 to 6 players. It was very well done in terms of the atmosphere. You felt like you were entering a Mayan temple area. The puzzles were interesting. They were not cliche, I would say. The artifacts, the physical objects that you were manipulating were very realistic. And I felt, and we didn't finish it, as I mentioned, I felt that we didn't finish it because it was on purpose a challenge. I think that if these game room kind of places, these escape rooms, made them all too easy, people would get bored and they wouldn't want to come. So I think it's probably good that we did not quite achieve the goal. So be prepared. Be prepared. If you go to one of these, you might not win. You might not find the secret object and solve the final clues in order to escape from the room. I will also say that this particular one is set up so there's a camera in the room, and I think I have audio, so the game master is actually monitoring what we're doing. And occasionally a clue would pop up on the screen. A hint, I should say, a hint. And one time in particular, we were counting certain things and we said out loud, so there are this many of that and this many of that and this many of that. And then the hint came up saying, you are missing 2 of item B. So we had to adjust our counts. That was helpful. And, trying to help the group be somewhat successful, but letting them really do it on their own. So I recommend that. And if you don't think that's something, your cup of tea, but you have friends who want to go along and give it a try. In searching on the internet for escape rooms near us, I believe that a lot of them now are limiting their people to only the group. That is, they won't put you with strangers, and I'm sure that's because of concerns about COVID. And in our little room, the room that was for 3 to 6 players, 6 players would have been tight. 3 or 4, I think, would have been good in that room. So that is sort of what's on our minds right now. Our friend Anne is staying at least another week and maybe longer. We're enjoying playing a lot of games, all kinds of games with her, and eating delicious food and enjoying conversation, getting some tasks done around the house that she happens to be good at and interested in. So that's always fun to have help. And that's about it. I don't think I really have anything else to add. Thanks for watching. I know I have some relatively new subscribers, and I appreciate that very much. If you are watching and you're not a subscriber, I would suggest, for your sake, because I know you don't want to miss any of my videos, that you subscribe and you click the notification bell. At this point, while our friend is here and while we're still kind of in, you know, between the transition mode between working and being retired in the case of my husband, and you know, starting new projects and finishing projects, in my case for cross stitch, I possibly am not going to make a weekly video at a predictable time. And so it might be good if you hit the notification bell so that you will know that I've put a new video up. So thank you so much, and many blessings to you, friends.